Ruben Amorim made a bold and timely decision that completely turned the tide, helping Manchester United defeat Athletic Bilbao and secure a place in the Europa League final. It was the 62nd minute at Old Trafford. United were trailing 0-1 after a brilliant goal from Mikel Joragizar when Amorim sent Mason Mount onto the pitch to replace Manuel Ugarte. The impact was immediate. Mount found the equalizer in the 72nd minute and then delivered an absolute screamer in injury time, a long-range rocket from over 30 meters that left Bilbao's keeper Aguirrezabala with no chance. But it wasn't just the goals that stood out. Mount's composure, decisiveness, and control in high-pressure moments told a much deeper story. He finished the game with a perfect 100% passing accuracy, won 80% of his duels, registered 19 touches, and made 3 successful tackles. That's why, despite coming off the bench, Mount earned the highest rating of the match, 9.5. From the moment Ruben Amorim took the reins at Old Trafford, many believed Mason Mount would be one of the biggest beneficiaries. And for good reason. Under Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, he had already proven his ability in a similar tactical system. After just a few training sessions, Amorim openly praised Mount, saying the number 7 had exactly the qualities he was looking for. And while Mount hadn't been at peak fitness, he showed promise in the minutes he played, typically around 50 to 60 minutes per game. He hadn't scored or assisted yet, but his intelligent movement and relentless pressing made him a valuable piece in Amorim's early plans. Amorim also understood the need to manage Mount carefully, mindful of the injury history that had plagued his United spell. He resisted the temptation to overplay him, but even that caution didn't shield Mount from further bad luck. In a rare start against city rivals Manchester City, Mount had to leave the pitch after just 10 minutes. Since arriving at the Theatre of Dreams in the summer of 2023 for a £60 million fee and inheriting the legendary number 7 shirt, expectations were sky high. He had been Chelsea's golden boy, a Champions League winner in 2021 and a product of their acclaimed Cobham Academy. His versatility, pressing intensity, and technical quality made him seem like the perfect piece to complete United's midfield puzzle. But reality hit hard. Persistent injuries, from thigh and calf problems to hamstring issues, disrupted his momentum. Rather than being a midfield linchpin, Mount struggled to find his place, constantly shuffled between roles, central midfield, attacking midfield, even the left flank. But nothing seemed to truly fit. No one doubts Mount's talent nor his suitability for Amorim's system, but when a player misses so many games, no tactic can function smoothly. There came a point when it looked like Mount's future at United was hanging by a thread. Regardless of how good a player may be, availability is key, and Mount simply hadn't been able to stay fit. Now, with the summer window approaching, if he fails to recapture his best form, the club's hierarchy may consider letting him go. When Mount first arrived at United, there was genuine excitement. Legends, pundits, and fans all believed in him. After all, he'd already proven himself at the highest level with Chelsea, collecting major silverware along the way. But football is unforgiving. When a marquee signing fails to deliver, scrutiny and criticism are inevitable, from the media and from the fans. The pressure on Mason Mount hasn't just come from within the club. It's been amplified by waves of criticism from the fans. Many supporters, frustrated by his injuries and inconsistent form, went as far as questioning his value to the team, claiming his presence made no real difference. From a beacon of hope to a symbol of disappointment, Mount's time at Old Trafford has been anything but smooth. He's had to weather the storm of injuries, public scrutiny, and crushing expectations. For a while, it felt like he was spiraling, stuck in a cycle of setbacks with no clear way out. But through it all, the 26-year-old midfielder remained determined. He knew where he stood physically and mentally, and he kept working, quietly, persistently, to regain his fitness. And now those efforts are finally bearing fruit. United manager Ruben Amorim has shown genuine belief in Mount. Back in March, when asked about the English midfielder, Amorim shared, "I really like Mason Mount. I see him every day, and I know how much he's been through. He does everything right, his diet, his recovery, his preparation. Maybe he's trying too hard, Maybe he's overthinking, but this is a European champion, a truly talented footballer. A player like him, who does everything right, will always have the support of everyone at this club. We'll manage his fitness carefully. You've seen players before who've had injury issues and still return to form. I trust Mason Mount. We need players like him. I think he'll start on the bench, and then we'll assess. Even 5 minutes of Mason Mount can be enough. And that trust seems to have paid off. Since returning from his hamstring injury, Mount came close to scoring in several substitute appearances against Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Newcastle, and Bournemouth. But it all came together in his first start since December 15th, the night he picked up a muscle injury against Manchester City. In that game against Brentford, Mount finally found the net. And what a goal it was! It started with a clever lofted pass from Kobbie Mainoo, setting Alejandro Garnacho free down the left flank. The Argentine winger latched onto the ball and whipped in a left-footed cross. Mount timed his run perfectly, let the ball skim across his body, and buried a composed finish into the bottom corner. It was a classic Mount goal, the kind of off-the-ball movement and instinctive finishing that made him such a threat at Chelsea. In fact, he had 2 more chances right after the break, both from similar setups where Garnacho pulled the ball back to the edge of the box. Mount's first shot with his left foot was blocked. The second, with his right, lacked power and was easily handled by Brentford's goalkeeper, Mark Flecken. Still, the goal was a massive boost, not just for Mount, but for Amorim too. Even then, Amorim remained cautious. After 57 minutes, Mount was subbed off for Christian Eriksen. Clearly, the coaching staff are still monitoring his minutes closely. On paper, his stats were solid. He completed 19 of 23 passes, though none were crosses and his only long pass went astray. He won 2 of his 4 ground duels and even won his lone aerial battle. Though he played as part of a front 3, Mount also contributed defensively, recording 1 clearance, 1 interception, and 2 tackles. It's been a tough journey since leaving Chelsea, but when his team needed him most, Mount stepped up. His brace against Bilbao wasn't just about goals, it was about belief. Yet maybe, just maybe, that stunning night against Bilbao is the turning point. The moment Mason Mount truly begins to write his Manchester United story. When Ruben Amorim brought Mason Mount off the bench, the game changed. He injected energy into the midfield, brought new life to the attack, and most importantly, delivered when it mattered most. His first touch control, followed by a curling finish into the far corner to level the score at 1-1, was pure class. A reminder that his quality was never in question, only waiting for the right moment to shine. After the match, Mount opened up. It's definitely been a tough period. Since the day I arrived, it's been non-stop. Injuries, setbacks, challenges. But I've never allowed myself to give in. I kept a positive mindset and always believed better days were coming. All I could do was keep pushing, day in, day out. The fans of Manchester United have been amazing. They've backed us no matter what. And for me to score my first goal at the Theatre of Dreams, it was a special night. One I'll never forget. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Now the entire team is focused on the final. We want to finish this season in the best possible way. Manager Ruben Amorim also had his say after the match. It's not just me. The whole squad is happy for Mason. Everyone in the dressing room knows how hard he's been working to get back on the pitch. He's a top player, and both of his goals were fantastic finishes. I think it's not just me or Mason. His teammates are genuinely delighted for him. Mount's brace against Bilbao wasn't just about 2 goals. It was a release of months of frustration, pain, and perseverance. Is this the turning point in his Manchester United career? That remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Amorim now knows he has a reliable weapon at his disposal. A gifted midfielder who can change the course of a game with a single moment of brilliance. And as United prepare for the Europa League final against Tottenham on May 21st, Mount could be the ace up their sleeve. Having regained his fitness and rhythm, the 1999-born midfielder now stands ready to make his mark. The stage is set, and the dream of lifting European silverware still burns bright.